Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to start on a new series for Next.js and React for beginners, where we are going to learn React and Next.js step by step. I'm just going to be taking you each step, and in this series, we are going to build this website. I chose care for this website simply because it has some nice concepts that I wish you, by the time if you know these concepts, it is going to help you learn more stuff. Okay, so some of these parts, they will be given to you as challenges. I will be guiding you how to do them. Not that I will be doing everything. Some of these ones they will be challenges, and I will be putting people to submit their challenges. Okay, so by the time we finish, I will start giving you challenges, and you can also submit your challenges and I can look at your code. But most of the concepts that are very serious, I will be helping you to do them. Okay, so we are going to start step by step. Even if you have never written any single line of React, you don't need to worry. And if you don't know any line in Next.js, you don't need to know. The only thing you need is that at least you must be knowing vanilla JavaScript. And there is a video I recently made on my YouTube channel. So if you go on YouTube, there is a recent video I made. You need to first watch it. So just come and type in JB Web Developer. Okay, and there is this video, you can see even it is on top here, which says essential JavaScript concepts to master before diving into React. If you go into this video, okay, if you go into this video, I dive into a lot of concepts that you need to master before diving into React. So it is a good idea you first watch this video. And concepts. Also, another note I want to take is that most people who are watching my videos, they are not my subscribers. Please, if you are enjoying the content I'm creating, please at least subscribe and also keep watching. Now, I notice most people also download the videos instead of watching them. Okay, now the YouTube algorithm, for sure, if you just download the video, it does not work for the content creator. So what I just suggest is at least I know you might be having maybe the ads, you don't want to watch the ads or something, I don't know, but it is good that when you're just, before you download, it is good to let it run in your browser as you are watching or as you are just doing your own thing, so that we all actually give me that watch hour. YouTube can only pay you when people are watching your videos, but I notice most people, they normally tell me they're enjoying my videos, but they are simply downloading them onto their devices. Okay, so we put in more time to create this content. At least make sure you subscribe and also try to watch the video so that I can get that watch hour from you. Okay, so this year we want to create content, and at least we hit 1k subscribers and also increase on our viewership. Okay, let's just go back to the project, and we are going to be building this project, and we are going to be learning most of these things. And another thing is that there is a blog that I'm just going to be updating. Let me just see if I can get that blog. Let me see if I can get that blog. Just a minute. Let me see if I can get that blog. so that we use it. It will be used to guide you in most of the cases. Okay, so here is the blog. So I will just put, of course, this link in the description of the video. So this is the blog, Mastering Next.js 13.4, a comprehensive guide for React beginners. So it has a lot of things. Okay, it has a lot of things. You can just go there and be reading through. I wanted to show you that there is this blog I wrote about Next.js, and I keep on updating it, adding in more new things. Okay, we keep on adding on more new things, and we are going to be using some of these concepts. Okay, so let's dive into our project and start. Okay, so we are going to be looking at step by step. So I'm just going to go onto this screen where we'll be writing my steps. So the first thing you do when you're going to create any project, not necessarily even for React, the first thing you should create is a project. And when I say you create a project, not necessarily you create a folder onto your PC. Of course, you have to get a place where you have prepared to be putting your most of your series. Like this series, you create a new folder. I've called this one Next.js for beginners, Next.js series for beginners, and I'm just going to be putting all my stuff into this folder. Okay, so when you have your folder very well where you want to be putting all your applications for Next.js, then you can now go ahead and we start here. So the first thing is to create a GitHub repository, and that is always the recommended way of doing things. So start by creating a GitHub. Okay, create a GitHub repo for the project. So I always see people struggling at the end of the day to push their code on GitHub. And by the way, if you don't know GitHub, there will be some lessons. I will make a video for GitHub. You can also tell me in the description if I should make that video very soon, taking you through GitHub for command line GitHub commands. If you are interested to learn more about GitHub, I want you to like the video and also comment GitHub, and I will just make that video. So the first thing is to create a GitHub repo for the project. I cannot say many words about this, but this is always the first step. Just go on your GitHub, log in if you have an account. If you don't have an account, create a GitHub account. And another thing, make sure that on your machine you have GitHub, you have Git installed on your machine. And I'm going to show you, you must first check if you have GitHub. And by the way, another thing, before you even go to this one, there is, in this blog, there are some things you need first to do. If you see here, setting up your environment, I'm just going to briefly talk about this. The first thing you need to do is to make sure there are some prerequisites before you start doing any React project, and more especially for Next.js. You need some prerequisites. Your machine must be having some things installed, and the first one, before you can start working with Next.js, you need to have installed npm and Node.js. Okay, so to install them, to first check if you have them, you can run these commands here. You can run these commands, and I can do so by just opening this folder in VS Code. I can open this folder in VS Code, and then you can run this node on your terminal. You can run node v. If it says the command is not known or npm v and they say the command is not known, just know you don't have Node.js. And if you don't have it, you can simply visit here this Node.js documentation and install this one. Just download it. It is a user installation file. Just first install this Node.js before you begin. And you might also need to first install Git. Just say git download, and this one will give you git bash, and you can work very well. Okay, so you just come and install this. It is also very easy. Just download here. If you're using Windows, if you're using Mac, you have all those choices here. Download also Git, so that we are all on the same page. After you have installed Node.js, you can still come here and run these two commands, node v. So if I go to here to my folder, I'm just going to go to view, and you can just say go to view, and you just run terminal. Just open your terminal here. Okay, so you can open up the terminal and you can check if Node.js is installed. Okay, so that is the only thing you need. You have to install npm. You simply install Node.js and it will install those two. Okay, then when you do that, then everything will be okay. And now we go back to here. Okay, so as we said, the first thing is to install or to create a repository online. I'm just going to come here and I will type in node, or you can type in npm, any of them. When you just come here and you type in node-v, you can type in node-v, enter, and now this should return for you a value. If you have any Node.js installed on your machine, it will return for you some value. Okay, it will return for you some value, and sometimes it can take some time. It is okay, just wait, and finally you see it brings here version 18.6. This is what is installed on my machine. So go ahead and install Next.js and then come back to these steps. So the first step, or step number one, I'm just going to be here doing these steps slowly so that you can understand them, how we are doing them. Okay, so the first step, I think I'm just going to call it 1. Okay, so step number 1, create your GitHub repo for the project. So I just go ahead here and I create new. Click on create new. Okay, so I'm just going to create this one, and I'm just going to call it Next.js. Let me just name it in small letters. Next.js. You can just call it maybe YouTube for beginners. So I'm just going to call it this one, Next YT for beginners, or YT beginners. Now this one, I could have called it Next.js maybe basics. You just call it basics. Okay, basics, just like this. Okay, so you don't need to worry about anything else. Just simply create your project just simply like this. You don't even need to initiate any readme file or a git ignore. Just simply create a repository by just putting a name here. Okay, and just click on create repository. As simple as that. That's the only thing I need you to create at this time. Okay, so when you create it, they give you this link here on top here, and you can copy it here. Okay, so the first thing you're just going to do, copy this link by clicking on this extreme end, or you can just come and just simply select it like this right click and copy. Now go back to your code here. Okay, let me first clear this, and then I'm just going to say git. Now that is when I told you you must first install git. Okay, you need to install git. After you have installed the git, it is just going to give you able to write these commands I'm writing here. Okay, so just write git, and after that just say git clone. So I'm just going to say git clone, and then I paste this link I have here. So it is git clone and this URL that you put. So it's going to take some few seconds or few actually takes about a few minutes, not even a minute, for a few seconds, and then it has done. So you see it cloned and it created this folder here, which is very much empty. So now I want to enter into this folder, and I'm just going to say cd, and in fact if I first do ls, you will see that it will show me there is this folder called Next.js YT basics, which is this one. So I want first go inside this folder. Right now I'm not currently inside that folder. I want first go into this folder we have created. Just simply say cd and go into this next, and you can even tab on tab, and then it will complete the whole next thing. Press enter, and now right now I'm inside Next YT basics, and this is where I want my app to be located. And you can see they even say main. Okay, if you have git lens installed, you can also install an extension here called git lens, so that it can help you to show you that where you are located. Okay, that is great. So now I'm inside my our first step is done, okay, of creating a git repository. And then of course you create this one and then clone it. Okay, so create a git repo, and then we can just put some other things inside. So I'm just going to say here, for instance, after that you can just say git clone your repo. Okay, so this is also very important. So you're inside our repository. So next we are going to do is, so just go to we are here. The second step we are just going to do is start to install a Next.js. So we are inside this one. I can first open this project by saying code dot. Now if it doesn't, just simply open your project in Visual Studio Code. You see it is this one. You can simply right click it and just say open with Visual Studio Code, or just simply drag it into Visual Studio Code. It will work. Okay, so I've opened my folder here. It is very much empty. Okay, there is nothing in it. The first thing we need to do after you have entered this repository, you don't need to create any file. Don't create any file. Simply come here and open your terminal. Okay, just simply open your terminal, and please make sure you are inside your folder. Okay, make sure you are inside your folder here. So right now the second step is we are going to create a Next.js project. Okay, so I'm just going to duplicate this here. So step number two here. Step number 2 is create a Next.js project. Okay, so here we are just going to run a command called npx create next app at latest. This is the command. Okay, this is the command npm create next app at latest. Now you specify the name of the folder, And now, since remember for us we want our project to create in this folder, we can specify the root by saying by putting space dot slash. Okay, so you would say npx create next app at latest, and this dot slash means that you want to initiate this project inside the folder you are in right now, this one. Okay, so I'm just going to come here and say npx create next app at latest, put dot slash, meaning we want it to install in this project. Press enter. Now this can take time depending on your network, because here it is going to first install Next.js. It's first going to try to install create next app and all that kind of stuff. So it might take more time. Okay, it might take more time or it might take less time depending on your network. Okay, so I'm just going to pause for a minute, and then when it is back, I will be back. Okay, it is now back. Now it might ask you to say, now me I already have create next app. It might just ask you the first question to say, do you want to install create next app? And then you type in Y. Okay, it gives you an option of saying Y, and then it will install create next app. And the next time you are going to be creating your Next.js projects, it won't be asking you that question. So the first question they are asking us here is, would you like to use TypeScript with this project? Now take a note that at the end here you have two answers. Now Next.js always, when it is asking you these questions, it gives you choices to write, type in. Sometimes ask you type in a Y or type in to select yes or no. So in this case we are supposed to select either no or yes. Okay, so right now we are just beginning our project. We even don't know what TypeScript is or what it adds. If you already know TypeScript, well and good, but you're not going to be using it in this beginner project. You are going to be using them in advanced project, but this one being our first project, we don't want to use it. Okay, so they say, would you like to use TypeScript with this project? So we have yes or no. And you can see by default for me, it is saying no. And now for you, it might be saying yes, depending on your previous choices. So it can be saying no or yes. If you see your no is in blue, if you see your no is in blue, that means it is no which is selected. And if it is your yes that is in white, that means no is selected. So you can move through them using the arrow on the keyboard. The left and right arrow keys on your keyboard, they can help to select either no or yes. Now if yours is in yes, you can move using the left arrow key to select no. Okay, and then afterwards you press enter. So now that mine it is on no, I'm just going to press enter. Yes, and you see here they say here I chose no. Now here they say, would you like to use ESLint with this project? Simply say no. Then, would you like to use Tailwind with this project? You can say no. We're not going to use right now Tailwind. We are going to start seeing Tailwind later on. But right now, one just simply start seeing how we can use Next.js, and we'll be using Sass as usual. So simply say no. Then they say, would you like to use the source directory with this project? Simply say no. And then they say, would you want to use the app router? And you can see they say it is the recommended one. And we are going to look at this new app router, which everyone is excited about, and simply say yes. Okay. Would you like to customize the default import alias? You simply say no. And when you do that, you will see here React is going to start installing the dependencies. So you can see here installing dependencies and installs React, React DOM, and Next.js. Okay, so it's going to start installing this, and don't cancel the project or anything. It takes time to install. Depending on your internet, it can be faster or it can be less faster. Okay, so I'm just also going to pause for a second, and I'll be back when it has finished the installation. Okay, it looks like it has finished installing, and this is what it will show you. Added packages. I don't know if yours is going to add 23 or not, but it doesn't matter. The only thing you need to see here is this word success. Okay, is this word success, and it tells you it has installed into this one. And if you look at now our folder here, our folder is having a lot of files. Okay, so the next step we are going to do is I'm going to explain all these files here. I'm going to explain all these files here, what they mean. Okay, I'm just going to explain files. So now the next step is I'm just going to come here and I'm just going to duplicate this again. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this again, and this number 3 is Next.js app folders. So Next.js folders, or folders and files. Okay, so now we have a lot of folders and files. Okay, we have a lot of folders and files, as you can see in our project here. Okay, I'm just going to explain one folder at a time. Now, if you are having a project looking like this, the first folder, let me start with this nice down from down. This readme, it was created by the Next.js, and it is a normal readme file. If it is your first time to see the readme file, you don't need to do anything in here. Okay, you don't need to do anything in here unless you are doing with a group of people where you can write some things here. You don't need to write anything here for now. Don't worry about this one. Now, this second one, file package.json, it shows you the name of your project, and you can change it. And it also shows you the dependencies, or the dependencies that we have installed in our project. And for instance, it shows us we have installed Next.js 0.4, React 18, and React DOM 18. So it shows us the dependencies that we have installed. Okay, and that is all it does. And then it also gives us the commands that we are going to be running. Now, these commands are very, very handy. We are going to be running these ones to build the project. As we are building, we'll be running these commands. Okay, now next is package lock. Package lock is actually the one which helps package.json to remember what dependencies were installed. So they are locked inside this file, and you can look, it looks like almost the same, but for it has more things. It has more things, and this is to help that if you are downloading back at these packages, it installs exactly these very ones. So it locks them here to understand the exact versions that were installed. So you don't need to do anything in these two files. Also, there is nothing to do here. Another one is Next.js config. Now, at the beginning, there is not any configurations we are going to do. We are going to be doing these configurations as we move on for now you don't need to worry about anything about this file. Okay, next is jsconfig.json. This one is for importing here. Okay, this one is for importing, and by default we are going to be importing using @/star now to represent this one. Now for now you don't need to worry about this one. Okay, this you don't need to worry about it right now. Then another is git ignore, and this one was also created on this on creating a Next.js app. And here they just simply tell us we do not need node modules. Now if you are new to npm, every time you install a package, these packages here we installed here, every time you install a package it is installed under here under node modules. Okay, so these things we have installed here, they live inside this folder called node modules. This is where everything is. Now we do not want this file. This file is a very huge file right now, and we do not want this file to go when we are pushing our code to GitHub. We don't want these node modules to be uploaded. So git ignore helps us to ignore them while uploading the code to GitHub. And you can see they have put /node modules, meaning this one will be left out while we are uploading our code to GitHub. And another file is public, and public folder, its purpose is to put these images, is why we put images for our project. We are going to talk more about it as we move on. Then next is the node modules. I've already talked about node modules. Every time you install packages, they are installed and they live inside the node modules. There is nothing you need to do under node modules. Don't do anything or tamper with it, just simply leave it. Now the remaining folder is the app, and this is where we are going to spend our entire thing creating stuff inside this folder. Okay, so this folder, this app folder, is a place where we create our routes. Now that is going to be the first topics. The first topic we are going to explain about Next.js is going to be routing. Okay, so the first principles here I've explained all these the meaning of these folders. Okay, I went and I explained the meaning of I can put here, sorry, I explained all these Next.js app folders and files. I've explained their meaning, each individual file. Okay, I don't think you have any problem right now with it. Okay, so next I'm just going to start explaining. Let me first click on this and I will extend it down here. Okay, so I'm just going to start explaining some of the concepts. Okay, so in our normal folder or in our normal project, if you want to go to a website, we know a website, you find that a website is just like this. Let me first explain the concept of Next.js routing. Okay, so the first thing we are going to explain right now is Next.js routing. Let me just bring this one down. Okay, just simply drag this down, and here I'm just going to say routing, Next.js routing. Okay, so in Next.js to do the routing, we use this app folder. Okay, we use this app folder, and in this app folder there is this called page.js. So this page.js is similar to index.html. If you are familiar with these projects, let me first bring this one here. So if you are familiar with, so here we have this folder called app, and then inside the app we have page.js. page.js. Now this file page.js, you cannot rename it. It has a specific meaning in Next.js. It means, or it is same as the way we have our index.html. So this one is same as our index.html, the way we have been using in the normal projects. You create and your index.html becomes your website homepage. So this page.js by default is equal to the home page. So this is the home page by default. Okay, and this is one of the most interesting thing in Next.js, that this is the home page. And so that it is the home page, just come and I'm just going to remove everything that is there. Okay, I don't want you, just simply remove everything that is there. Okay, and this page.js is where we create where the page where this one becomes our home page. I'm just going to write here, this is the home page. Okay, this is the home page here. Now if this is the home page, how do we create other files? Okay, so if page.js is the home page, how do you create other other routes? And by the way, I'm just going to be calling them routes. So that means this here, for instance, we have here other places. We have work, we have about, and blog, and contact. So how do we create all these other routes? Okay, so if I wanted to create all these other routes, work, about, blog, and contact, I want to create these ones. You simply come in the app folder. So right now we have our app folder. Let me duplicate this one. So right now we have a folder. Okay, we have our app folder. Okay, we have the app folder, and inside the app folder we have, I want to do this, we have the first one, we have page.js, and we said this one will point to our home page. Okay, this will point on the home page. Now if I want to create another, for instance, for work, for all these other routes, we have work, about, blog, and contact. So what I will just do, you simply create another folder. So inside the app, you create, for instance, another folder called work. Then inside this folder called work, you create inside a file called page.js, and this one is going to be the work page. So this is going to be the work page. Okay, you simply create a folder. So just come here, for instance, I create a new folder inside the app, new folder, and I call it work, as simple as that. And then inside this work, I create a new file called page.js, as simple as that. Okay, as simple as what? As simple as that. And if you notice, there is page, there is layout here, layout.js, and global.css. We are going to talk about these ones in a minute. You don't need to worry about them. Okay, right now let's worry about this, how we create new routes. So we are creating new pages, and we said we simply create a folder, and then you create page.js. So I want you to repeat and create more files, or create more routes for all these other ones. Okay, you can just like pause the video for a second and do that challenge. Okay, so meaning you have created all these about, blog, and contact. Just create these folders. I'm just going to create about folder. So simply create here. If you want to create another page, let me just drag this one down. just come here and you say about. So about is going to be a folder. Inside this one, I create page.js, and then this one is going to represent the about page. About page. If I want to create the services or the contact page, I'm not going to create all the other pages. Just say contact, and that is a folder. Inside that folder, put there page.js, and then inside there, right, this one becomes the contact page. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and create those two. So inside the app, you click on the app, right click, new folder, and you call this one like about. Okay, and then inside this one, just simply create page.js. Okay, and this one becomes the about page. So this is about page, and this is the work page. Inside, of course, this one is the work page. And then if I want to create now for the contact, click on the app again, create a new folder, and I'll call it contact. Okay, contact, and inside this one, I'm just going to create a new file, and I call it page.js. Okay, page.js, as simple as that. Now, you realize all my folders are in small letters. Okay, I know even if you make them capital letters, they will work, but conventionally, just keep all the folders inside the app, just make them to be small letters. Okay, make them to be small what? Make them to be small letters. Even the files here we are putting, they are all small letters. So that is the first concept. That is the first concept of creating routes. Okay, now how do we see them in the browser? Right now we haven't seen our project in the browser. So we said the home page, our index.html is same as page.js. So come inside here in this home page. Now React or Next.js, what it does, simply just know each individual page is simple a function. Is simply a what? Is simply a function. Okay, so what you can just do is you can just say, for instance, you can create a function. Okay, and this function must be a capital letter. That one I want to tell you that the function name must be a capital letter. It must start with a capital letter, and if you're just going to use two words, they must also be starting with capital each of the word. For instance, this is a home page, and the function I will call it home. Okay, and then inside this function, I will simply return our HTML. And now this one, HTML, is somehow different. We normally call it JSX. Okay, JavaScript, XML, or JavaScript in HTML. So we just simply, for instance, put this one, and I'm just going to say section. You can just simply write here, by the way, this, and then I put section here, and inside here the section, this is not the section. So inside the section, I'm just going to write here maybe h2, and I'm just going to say home page. Okay, now if you just write a simple function like this is not enough, there is one more thing you need to do, and you are familiar by this. This is not new. We have been doing this in normal JavaScript, creating a function. On it here, the function name must be capital. Okay, and normally if it's for a page, just name it according to the page you are rendering. Now inside here, you see I've put in my HTML, and I have put it inside these brackets. You see these parentheses? The return must have these parentheses. And another thing you should notice is that inside here, I have put here a div. So it is good you put a one thing, because return cannot return more than one thing. If I try to do something like this return is going to complain. It does not work like this. You must return only one div, or only one thing. Okay, just remove this one. So the return returns only one thing. That means start with a bigger section, either section or a div, and all other things you want to write, you can write them inside here. Okay, this is the home page, just like this. Now, as we said, this is not enough. One thing you have to put is that all of the pages or all the functions in React, the one you create, they must be exported by default. Okay, simply just put here on top here, export default, just like that. Just add this word export default so that it is exported and it can communicate with React. Now here React will understand this page when you do export default like this. Okay, and then you are returning some HTML here, and you can write in some things like this. Now to see this page in the browser, what we simply need to do is say npm here run dev, and where we are getting this command run dev, we are getting it from our package.json under scripts. So when you go to scripts, you see there is this a dev command, and dev means development. Okay, so when you run npm run dev, it's like we are writing this script which is going to run this next dev. Okay, so when I run it like that, okay, it is going to start the server, and you can see it has run next dev, which is this one here, and it's going to start for us a server, which is just something like starting a local host or starting the way we have been using live server. Okay, in the JavaScript projects, the normal projects, we have been starting just like live server, not like server, but we have been getting just normal projects just like this. So here we start this environment or this server, and it tells us that it is ready on this localhost 3000. Now you can simply do control click. You can do control click, or you can simply go to your browser in a new tab, and you simply type in localhost, and then you say 3000 dot 3000, just like that. Okay, it is going to take some seconds to load. As you are seeing here, they are doing the compiling. You can see they are compiling the pages. Okay, now when here they say that successfully compiled, you see here compiled client and server successfully. Now that means this side it is going to start loading, and you can look at our home page. Let me close all these things here. Just simply close all these pages, and we'll only focus on this one. So you can see now this function we created here, it became our home page, and you can see here home page, and this is the home page, and this text is coming from here. Now this thing you are seeing here, this background here, this background comes from this CSS that comes with the app. Okay, all this, just simply Control A and remove everything. Okay, so in this global.css, simply remove it, and what you just do, you can just write star. We write our normal CSS we have been writing by ourselves. So you can just come here and write star, and let's say margin. Okay, you can just say margin 0, padding 0, and then padding 0, and then also you can just say box sizing, and you can just say box sizing is border box. Okay, as simple as that. and here let's close here. And then another thing is you can just come here and you say body. Okay, let's give it a background color, background. Okay, background, and I can just say sky blue. I can just use this sky blue background. So if you do that, you will see that our home page is going to change. Now it is having this background and is looking nice. Okay, now why is this CSS working and we have not connected it anywhere? Now Next.js, when it starts your project, it has connected all your app here and it has already connected it to everything it needs like CSS, but then it uses this file called layout. This file you see here, layout.js, is the file, or it is the middleware, or a middle file that connects all other pages and connects them to CSS. So if we check inside the layout, first of all, you notice that on top here, they have imported this /global.css, which is actually this file here. Okay, so simply, and all these other things, you can remove them, more especially these fonts. We are going to put our own fonts. Simply remove these two lines. This one, which is importing the inter from next font, and this is inter. Just simply remove these two lines. Okay, and then we are going to explain about this metadata. This is for SEO, and this is when we want to change our project. You see on top here, it just says localhost. In these things I've removed here, just also go down here and remove this inter thing here. You see this class name, just simply remove this class name. And by the way, that is the error we are seeing here. They are saying this class name inter, they are not seeing it. So that means simply remove this. Okay, remove that, and this error will just simply go away. Okay, this error will simply go away, and you can see here. Okay, that is good. Now the next thing we're just going to do is just simply here we have this body. We are going to talk about more this layout file, but right now just know that this layout file is the one which is controlling all these other files we have created. Okay, all these other files we have created, they are controlled by this file. Okay, now that here we have connected our CSS, if you change it here, or if you connect it inside the layout, it connects all these other files. That's why we can connect here in this one. And saying that, we can just actually first put that font. If we want to put back the font, we can just go and we put our normal fonts by going to fonts. Just go to fonts.google.com. Okay, and you can just come here and select your inter. Just here search inter. Okay, and click on it, and then start selecting one by one all these things here. Select on this. Now me, I already have it inside here selected. Okay, so what I just simply do is scroll here down. Instead of copying this link for HTML, simply click on this CSS and simply copy this, copy that, right click, copy, and just go to your global.css. Now this is where we write all our CSS, and on top here, just simply paste this line of code. Okay, and with that, we can just go here in our star, and then we can also go ahead and copy this line of code down. There is this font family called inter. Also copy this, come and put it inside here. This is how you put fonts in Next.js. Okay, you import using this CSS line you get from Google Fonts, and you also put it here, you specify it here or inside the body, anywhere you want. And now when we go back to our website, you'll see that it is going to change back to enter. Okay, that is good. Now let's finish by checking all these other pages. Okay, so if you want to go to about, go to this page and say export. Okay, write export default and give the name of the page. Since it is about page, I'm just going to give it about. So this is the function, and inside here we simply return. Okay, and we return the HTML, which is, I'm just going to put section, just like that. Okay, section, and inside the section export default, there is word function missing. Export default function, just like that. Export default function about, and we return our HTML, and inside here you can say h2. This is, so you can just say this is about page. Okay, and I can also put a p tag, and I can say this is a about us page, about us page, just like that. So after putting this, only this, so long as I put export default on top here, it will automatically work. So now if I refresh, and now I go on localhost 3000, this is the home page. Now I will go slash, and then I put about, and this about you right here is the name of this folder here. This name here, about, is what you put here as a slash. So you just simply do about, and you can see we are on the about page. So we are going to do all this for all pages. So you can do it as an assignment. Just pause the video and create all these other pages for the contact and work. Okay, congratulations if you have paused the video and you did it. That is great of you. I'm just going to simply copy this. I go to contact in page, paste this one. I simply change this function, the name of the function. If it is contact page, I name it to be contact. And this way I can just say this is contact page, and this is contact page. Okay, I do the same in the work, and I change this one to be work, capital work, and just simply go inside here, change this one to be work, and this is work page. Okay, so I've created all the pages. Let me check them out one by one just to refresh, and come here on top, just put work. Okay, just put work, and you can see we are on the work page. Remove work and put contact. So I'm just going to come here and I put contact, and we are going to be on contact page. So congratulations, you have successfully seen how to create in this episode we have seen at least all these 4 concepts. Okay, we used GitHub to create a repository. We went ahead, we created a Next.js project, and this is going to be your workflow every other time you start a project. Okay, that's why I'm summarizing these things so that you understand them. I explain, you get these folders, I explain the folders. Okay, and now the first principle, or the first thing we worked up, is explaining the routing. Okay, I took time, I explained writing both theoretically, and we also did it practically while we created all these pages. Okay, so I'm just going to end this episode from here. If you like it, please click the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can keep making more content. So see you in the next episode.